Hello and welcome to another episode of Grange TV. Have with us Mr. Eli Hedges, TAFE extraordinaire, and Mr. Robert Whittaker, UFC fighter. And apparently, according to Sherdog, pull-out merchant and coward.
Oh, wow. Is that really what I'm being called on Sherdog?
No, not by everyone.
Pull-out merchant.
People have been overwhelmingly supportive, but there are a few people that feel that you have to be called a coward and that you cost the UFC a lot of money and that you shouldn't have pulled out, because I know that those people, if they had a fucking hernia that was strangulated in their bowel and whatnot, they would turn up and go to work the next day at their factory job for sure, 100%.
Oh, jeez.
Let alone fight Gastelum.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I did my best. Like, I had it in my head that I would fight still for the longest time. It wasn't until the guy come out and goes like, we're going to get you into surgery in like half an hour. Yeah. That I was like, I guess I can't fight now.
I have to call it.
It was like 5 a.m. and I hadn't drunk water since like 3. I was on drips.
3 in the afternoon,
I was on drips and heart monitors and everything. It's crazy.
How you feeling now, Rob?
Yeah, like I feel good. It's a weird feeling right now in my stomach and lower intestine area. Like I just feel bloated all the time, and obviously the tissue itself is healing. The scars are healing, so it's just a process. I got to make sure I don't get back too early and just do a bunch of damage, tear open the holes.
Are you worried when you're on the toilet?
Hey?
Is that it? Are you worried? Because
No, it's not. It wasn't a hernia from like pressure or strain, like your normal hernia. It was an internal hernia, and that happens more due to like trauma and scar tissue on your intestines and stuff like that. Like they don't come because of the same reasons. I don't know.
We were talking off camera before about how it can be caused, and what was the stuff the doctor said to you?
Yeah, like normally, they're very rare to begin with. Like they're not everyone gets them, but when it happens, it's normally due to trauma. So there's like usually a previous surgery or like a serious accident, like a car accident or something that does significant trauma. But because I didn't have surgery or anything, it was a bit. I've never had surgery on my stomach before. It was a bit of a like out of the blue sort of thing. And then he's like, "Do you remember any significant trauma?" And I don't remember any trauma where I got hit and I think, oh, I've hurt myself. But then I was thinking, like, I've lived a life of a lot of combat sports. Like I played football growing up. I was a reckless kid. Then MMA. And I mentioned before, like
Parkour. Tell us about your parkour
for
career.
2 years, I was like just doing parkour with my brother. I can't even say I was on parkour. We were atrocious.
Tell us about your parkour.
Let me tell you about
I want to know, because I've seen you're not very agile.
I'm very agile. What are you talking? You're not very agile. Me and my brother just jumped off high things. Like literally, that's
How
it.
high are we talking about?
I don't know.
At what age?
Would have been like 15, 14, 15.
How high, but?
I don't know. Like, I don't know, 8 meters maybe?
You fucking liar! What a fucking liar! You'd be dead. That's like a telegraph pole.
That's like them guys that go surfing and go, like 8 footers. I was catching 8 footers this morning. You go
Like
check
8
it out.
meters.
What, into water?
Nah, actually, that's pretty high.
You know how high 8 meters is?
How high is this
Okay,
ceiling?
I'm going to tell you something.
How
you know
high is this ceiling?
I'm going to...
wait for me. How high is this ceiling?
3 and a bit.
Oh, then probably about 5.
No way. I'm going to tell you
What do
something.
you mean no way? It was 5 for sure.
I'm going to tell you something. The Olympic diving towers, the highest ones that you see at the Olympics, are 10 meters.
Yeah, then about 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
You fucking
4 or
splattered.
5.
These fucking, your big, fat, flat
Hey,
feet.
Fab, just because
Fucking
you
paint.
can't do it doesn't mean it can't be done, brother.
You can imagine Rob's fat feet hitting the ground at 8 meters.
I wasn't always like this big. I was significantly smaller.
What do you
when
think,
I was
Eli?
that
Do you
age.
think 8 meters?
Nah, I think he's.
I didn't say 8. I said 4 or 5 then.
4 or
I
5
checked.
still.
That's huge.
Still?
Yeah.
Nah, man. 4 or 5's not
So
that high.
if we walked outside here to where we come up the stairs, you would have jumped from that second floor to the first down to the bottom.
We'll have to look at this after.
Do you know how high that is? A basketball hoop is 3 meters. You wouldn't jump from a
Yeah, I
basketball.
would. 100% I would have.
You wouldn't have.
I would have 100 billion%.
From the top of the backboard.
No, the ring is 3 meters.
I guarantee you it was higher than that, because what we used to jump off was like one of those cricket fences, like the backdrop things for the cricket. And that was much higher than the basketball ring that was next to it.
Yeah, that's high. I'd say
Yeah, I mean, that is high, but I don't believe you.
Oh, well, I don't need to justify myself to you. Like,
Was there footage?
hey, I don't know.
How did you land?
On our feet.
Okay, so you just landed on your feet and you bent your knees?
Yeah.
You're a liar. There's no fucking way.
I guarantee you.
You didn't even do a commando roll.
No commando rolls, mate. Springing.
Hernia.
Yeah, probably.
Like, that's just the stupid stuff we used to do.
Do you believe it, Elo?
He's given us an example of what he's...
What's the biggest wave you've ever surfed?
You've asked me this before, and I went, do you mean to exaggerate? I don't know.
40 footer.
4 or 5 foot. Maybe 6 foot. That's surfed.
What about you, Rob? I've seen Rob body pause.
Surfed. I've never caught a wave.
Never.
No,
Not even on holiday.
No, not a wave, like a strong ripple, strong ripple maybe, but never a wave.
Your Instagram photo for 3 years after that.
Yeah, just standing up on the board, and you cut out the rest of the wave because there was none.
So how are you getting around now? Like, how are you in pain now? Are you?
It's like kind of hunched over. UFC, shout out to Alex.
like Alex Price.
Yeah, like Alex. So it's because standing upright for the first week or so, it's like it feels tight on the stomach. But I'm walking around. I'm trying not to do too much just yet because we're still within like the first week and a half of surgery, which is like a period I shouldn't be pushing myself too much.
The problem with those types of things is like you might start to feel good, but you're not good.
Yeah. And
then you do something basic, like, I don't know, pick up your kids or something, and it can reopen it, eh?
Yeah, exactly that. And the problem, yeah, exactly. As the doctor said, he goes that the surgeries today, they're small, the keyhole. They go in through a small incision and they stitch it up on the inside. You don't know, like it doesn't. You look at it, you wouldn't even from 5 meters away.
3 keyholes.
Yeah, I got 3 keyhole surgeries. So like, if you were to stand 5 meters away, you wouldn't even see that I've been injured or had surgery. It's like it's all done on the inside. All the scar tissue they cut out on the inside. All the prodding and moving around of the intestines inside. It's like you can't see it, and because I can't see it either, you don't. You know, we as a race need to see things to believe it. To
believe them, yeah. 8 meter jumps.
Yeah, we'd have to see that to believe that one. You had a hernia, Eli.
Yeah, mine was external.
What was the recovery time like for you in that?
I think they gave me around after the surgery 6 weeks before they even wanted me to do anything, and that was like grabbing the kids or anything. So they said I have to stay away. 2 weeks was pretty much laying up, I think, and just relaxing. I started to go back to work, and then I couldn't. They said don't even pick up a book for 6 weeks, I think it was. You
haven't really been known to pick up a book, though.
No. If they are, they're
no fear of that.
Yeah.
How'd you do it?
I was with our school, and we were up at Woodlawn for a rugby union competition, and I had a bag of jerseys over my shoulder, and it was slippery walking down a hill, and I've just slipped down the hill. I didn't fall over, but what I must have done is turn everything on, and it's just created pressure, and yeah.
Did you feel it straight away?
Yeah, I actually thought I did my appendix or something. So I was rolled over for half the day.
Much?
Oh, it was so bad.
Oh.
And then I ended up around 2 o'clock. We had a kid that got injured and he had to go to hospital. I said, I got to go. I said, I'm in so much pain. I went straight to my doctor's, and it was just sticking out. Like all my intestines were sticking out, and they've quickly rushed me, laid me down, and like have to massage it back in.
So you just had like a big bulge?
Yeah, it was horrible. Horrible. Fuck. So I went like there's something wrong with my bladder or something went really wrong.
My old man had a hernia, and he didn't do anything about it for so long. It was just like
Charlie has like a bunch of hernias.
It was just popping out of his belly button for the longest time. And
yeah, but it didn't actually necessarily hurt him, eh?
Hey?
Did it hurt him?
Yeah.
Fuck!
He just lived with it for so long.
People do. I remember a removalist up home, and he used to have one in his belly button, like
Fucking hell.
it was like a little human. You
Yeah.
pulled it out. But
Gee
mine
whiz.
was in my groin.
Because
Ah.
yeah, I guess he groin's worse. I guess because my dad was just like plowing through it, just living with it for the longest time. I didn't think they were that serious.
Yeah.
Charlie's had it for 10 years.
He still holds pads.
Yeah, Charlie. Shout out to
Yeah.
Charlie Bashwadi, Rob's Muay Thai coach. He's got like a bunch of hernias too.
That's crazy. He still holds pads for me.
And kicks the shit out of people. But they're different types of
Yeah,
hernias, man.
different types.
They're different types, but
I kick him in the stomach.
yeah, he full kicks him.
He asked me to.
I wouldn't fucking
killing
do
him.
that.
That's
Fuck
crazy.
that. And so you're like moving forward. Is there any time when you might be fighting or anything like that?
I'm looking, with the recent news of, Adesanya and Gastelum fighting for the interim belt. I guess I'm looking to fight the winner of that. So I guess in terms of like timelines and dates, it'll be a month or maybe 3 months after that. Like 3 months maximum, 1 month minimum after that. So yeah, I guess that's the kind of timeline I'm looking for.
What are your thoughts on it, Eli? Because just as a fan, like in that, like, because obviously he's taking part in it. I was at the event, obviously. So, but just from what you saw, the feedback, the fallout, everything. What's your thoughts on that fight and on that event?
I guess straight away you just ask the question, why? Why is it Israel and Kelvin? I can understand Kelvin because he was going to have a shot at the title, but why does Israel, after his performance with Anderson, straight away get an interim title shot when there's still the scariest guy in the division? Do you know what I mean? Romero there. There's still Chris Weidman. There's guys in front of him that I think would be a little bit dirty on him just jumping straight up. And then it's got to be a fame thing.
Yeah, I
isn't
guess Weidman would be filthy, eh?
Yeah.
Because he's free at the moment.
And
So I
Jacare
was
as
Yeah,
well.
he'd be dirty.
I was
When
thinking.
Jacare beat Weidman, man.
Yeah.
Jacare stopped Weidman.
I was thinking like that. I was thinking like, oh, maybe everyone's tied up, but yeah, Jacare and Weidman are both free.
Well, Weidman just had surgery.
On what?
I pec or neck or something like that, or neck and pec or something. I
He's had a
think
lot of neck things, eh?
he's had a few injuries. Had a few knee surgeries. He's been through the wars, that man.
Okay.
This game isn't friendly.
Nah, there's so in your opinion, just as a fan, you don't think Israel should have the shot?
No, I don't think he should. Not yet. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that performance against Anderson proved to everyone that, do you know what I mean, he's right there yet. Do you know what I mean? I still think there should be someone put in front of him for another test who maybe has a few more tools. Because let's be honest.
Do you think
Do
you think Gastelum can be that test? Would you say that if Israel got through Gastelum, that then he would be deserving of a shot?
Yeah, I think so. If he got through Gastelum, but I don't know. An interim belt, that's right there. That's there. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think there's other guys sitting in that division, a little bit higher up on the ranks than him, that would be a little bit filthy.
Yeah, well, when you look at the little poster, it says like Gastelum versus Adesanya. It's like 4 versus 5.
Yeah, so that's
it's like 1, 2,
then
3 are in the equation.
Then again, is there a strategy behind it where if they did do Romero might give them absolute hiding, and then would Rob and Romero 3 sell? Would you know what I mean?
It would definitely sell.
Yeah, it would sell.
Everybody wants to see that fight,
Yeah.
except me.
So, what are your thoughts on it?
On what in particular?
On them getting an interim title fight and not just a fight.
I think like at that level they're all good. It's not. I think I'd like to take the word deserve out of it. I don't know if it's whether or not they deserve it. That of course they deserve it. You know what I mean? That isn't the issue. I don't like the fact that there's a massive discrepancy in how people have to in how people going through to a title shot. That's a big one, you know, because like I said, like to go through Jacare and Romero for the title, you know, to go that and you know have Romero twice, That's a pretty impressive resume. Romero himself, you know, he fought a who's who, you know, and I think that's a discrepancy. Not so much, you know, because the problem is this: anyone can beat anyone on any given day. It's every fight's 50-50.
Yeah.
So the problem is, if you get fast tracked to the title, or think it's not whether you're good or you don't deserve it, but it's not the same route, and that to me is what's unfair about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously Adesanya is not new to the game. I think that Adesanya's as an athlete is absolutely deserving of it, and good for him in as far as like good for him that he gets his shot and take a shot. You know what I mean? As someone that's obviously, I'm subjective. I'm not you know, impartial. I'm looking at Rob and thinking I'd like to see everyone have to fight Jacare and Romero back to back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Having said that, if he beats Gastelum, then all right.
I think Gastelum's a good is it gatekeeper?
Well, Gastelum's gonna beg to differ though. If he beats Adesanya, he's gonna
100%. But I think like right now, in terms of like Adesanya versus Gastelum, I think Gastelum's like the gatekeeper for the 5.
Yep.
I think that's a hard fight. I think Gastelum's a great fight for him to fight. I would have liked to see him fight either like a Romero or a Rockhold or a Weidman. Like, I think they'll give him a lot of trouble.
So that's 2, 3, and 4. Are they?
I think no.
Sorry, 1, 2, and
Weidman I think is dropped to 6.
Oh. Okay.
I think Weidman dropped to 6. Adesanya went to 5.
Gastelum 4.
Gastelum's 4.
How did Adesanya beat jump Weidman?
I think because
they've had no common opponents.
And I think Weidman's inactive.
Is that?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not
How's
justifying.
he inactive? He got
I'm not
knocked out,
justifying
like,
the
2 months
rankings.
How's that inactive?
I don't.
Nah, not happy with that. Bring Weidman up.
No, I think honestly, my opinion is not inactive, but he lost his fight to Jacare, and he's going to be inactive because he just had surgery.
Yeah.
From my understanding, I don't know. It could be massively wrong.
I have never understood. That's why I've never even.
No, the rankings don't matter.
I've never understood them at all. But I'm just thinking though, like Weidman and Adesanya, like Weidman and Adesanya haven't had common opponents, and Weidman has only lost to people much higher than anyone Adesanya's beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we were on Robbie's rankings, then it would be a very different story.
Well, in that, to me, that would be the fight before. I think you and Gastelum should fight. This is just got nothing to do with who deserves it. This is just you asking me what I think. I think Gastelum and Rob could fight. The problem is that there's a little love triangle there with like Romero, Jacare, Weidman, and then another one with Weidman, Gastelum, and Jacare. Like
Is that where you mean?
They kind of like just beat each other. So there's that little thing there.
And it's just me at the top ducking.
Well, yeah, apparently, yeah.
He's ducking.
And so then it'll be interesting to see someone from that cohort fight an Adesanya, and then a shot at whoever wins out of Gastelum and Rob. But I don't think it makes a massive difference. I think Adesanya is deserving of a shot up there, but I don't like it hasn't been Jacare and Romero back to back. That there is definitely a discrepancy between that.
I ran a gauntlet for sure, but and I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Like even if no one else has to, I'm proud of that, and my fans know that. But you know who else ran a bloody gauntlet was Romero. Look at his resume.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before.
Yeah, that dude ran a gauntlet.
He's only lost to the champ.
Yeah, but he fought Weidman, Rockhold, Jacare.
No, that's
me.
But
Cheetah.
Gastelum as well. Gastelum fought Weidman, lost to Weidman, but he fought Weidman. He fought Jacare, won a very, very close decision with Jacare. But again,
That was a split, eh?
I'm pretty sure it was a split decision, or
Yeah,
it was a close decision. They put it that way. So, he fought some top of the food chain guys as well, to get to where he is as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think the person that would be filthy would be him, Gastelum, more than anything. Because I think in Rob's situation, Rob has to fight
Whoever rocks up.
whoever turns up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gastelum should be the one that is angry about it. Adesanya, whether it's from my perspective as one of Rob's coaches, whether it's Adesanya, Gastelum, or Costa, or Romero, or whoever, Jacare, Weidman, any of those guys, it doesn't matter to us. Do you know what I mean? Like it will be what it is. So it's not like personal or I don't think he should get the shot. It doesn't matter. But from a Gastelum's perspective, I think I'd be filthy in that I would want to have that guaranteed shot.
It's
at
like
Rob.
it's like if they made Ortega fight someone when Max got pulled out of that fight.
Yeah.
But Ortega just stuck with his guns, like, no, I'm not fighting anyone except Holloway. I'll just wait.
Yeah.
And
People
that's what he did.
don't they?
I don't know if he had a choice.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't think he had a choice, but that's what should have happened, I guess. Because I'm not going to be. It's not like I got a extensive surgery, I didn't get extensive surgery. I'll be back sooner rather than later.
Yep.
I guess aside from their feelings and how they might feel, for me, I'm very happy with this turn of events because I was very disappointed that I couldn't fight the last fight.
What was that like for you though? I mean, I was there, but what was that like for you in the moments where you were like, holy fuck, this is not the second time, but right in the 11th hour? What's those feelings like? Because people talk like it was fun for you to pull out of the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess the biggest feeling for me was embarrassment. And I don't know. I don't know why. Everyone's saying like you have nothing to be embarrassed about. You shouldn't feel that way. But I couldn't help but feel that way.
Can you put up his mic a little bit? Turn up the mic.
Turn it up.
Yeah. Sorry, Rob. Go on.
No, you're right. Is that better? That should be. Yeah, I guess the biggest feeling that I had was embarrassment. It was I felt embarrassed, and it was gut wrenching for me. It was terrible, And then an after effect of that was, I'm not going to get paid for this fight.
Yeah.
I had just done all the prep. It'd been 8 months since my previous fight. I'd like to earn some money, but couldn't do that either.
So it would have been a big roller coaster of emotions, yeah. The high of having everyone you're getting to fight a title fight in Australia in front of everyone, then finding out, do you know what I mean, it's getting taken away from you, then finding out that also what you do for a living and the way you support your family is also getting taken away from you.
It was bad, But it's funny because your emotions are directly related to how you are in the moment, like what's going on in your situation. So like around 1 o'clock when I was getting my stomach aches and vomiting, like aggressively vomiting, I did not care what was happening anywhere else in the world except I need something to get rid of this pain. Like I just couldn't stand it. It was killing me. Like I didn't care if I had to go to hospital or whatever. It was kind of, once they got me on the morphine and they said, we're going to have to pull you out of this fight, that I was starting to be like, oh man. And then the embarrassment hit, and then later on the financial hit also hit me, because I'm not going to earn any money. It sucked. But then like that whole week is a bit like, the beginning of that week is a blur because I was so drugged up for the longest time that just bits and pieces. Like I think I rang one of my best mates. Shout out to Pete. I rang him up saying, you could stay with me. You can stay for an extra week. Come to the hospital. You can share a couch with me. We're good. We can hang out. But we couldn't. It was. The first week I was in disbelief that how everything had played out, because it was like an after fight without the fight, without the money. Without, it's a weird feeling. It's a very, very, very weird feeling because I still cut weight. That's another thing. Like to all the naysayers out there that said, "Oh, he knew he was going to pull out." Fuck you. Yeah. Why would I cut weight Why would I cut weight to pull out from a fight? Like, why would I pull out before the weight cut? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense. I don't understand. Like, I wouldn't wait till after the cut to pull out of a fight.
It was bad too. It was like that was all happening like late at night. You know, that night, the whole thing, and you know, like at first, you know, people don't understand. Like, you know, one of the things that honestly, it really affected me. Like, fuck it. But one of the things that I don't know if it didn't surprise me either. It was just like sad to me. It was sad more than anything. Like, I was just watching how people act, not Rob in itself, but like how quick people are to like jump on people and this and that. And I think how sad and lone. Doesn't matter if you're a good fighter or you're a tough guy, you've got a lot of money. It's got nothing to do with it. It's just how sad and pathetic like people are, like, and insecure. You know, and I just look at that and it really made me realize that it doesn't matter how good of a fighter you are or whatever, but like just how insecure people are and how people jump on that, you know what I mean? If someone, and some of the shit, like at the time when he was in the hospital, like this is the thing as well that I was thinking, I was like, dudes could die. You know, he's there with his wife and his dad and this and that, and people carrying on like, across the board, you know, whether it's fighters or whatever, and I just think, how much of a weak shit are you? Like, you're just like a weak fucking person. Like, I just look at you as a man, and I just think, like, yeah, you can fight, good for you, but as a man, you're weak and you're insecure, and you can see the little boy in these guys. You know what I mean? Yep. In a lot of guys, not anyone in particular, but you just see it, and I just think, like, fight game is a fight game. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're there. It's for real, you know. But and then the people just on the internet, like, which of course everyone knows this is played out. You know how you get trollers and that on the internet, and I understand that these people are weak and they're insecure and they have to do what they do and it makes them feel tough. And don't get me wrong, maybe if I get the chance, I would like to get 27 accounts and bag the shit out of LeBron one day. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know how people are that sad. I just truly don't.
Sorry, sports fans in general they have short minds, do you know what I mean? They're short memories. They only concentrate on your last win or last loss, do you know what I mean? So you'll go back out, you'll be the world champion again, and them same guys who were bagging you are going to be like, yeah, Rob, you're the champ.
Yeah, I guess like, I've got a question for you, Fab, in a second, but like on the back of that, it's like a lot of people saying like, oh, strip him. And it's like, if you want to, you can. Like, that's your prerogative. I can't stop anyone from doing anything. You know, I'm going to do what's best for my health and get back in there and do what I love doing and do what I'm good at doing. But just to put in perspective, me and Romero went out there for the second time and did another 5 rounds, which makes 50 minutes of brutal fighting, the 2 best in the world. And we both haven't stepped back in the octagon yet. So even if I did fight, and obviously I couldn't, but Romero still hasn't jumped back in there. You know, that's surely an indication on how much we left it in the Chicago, in Chicago. You know, and anyone who's seen that fight knows we left everything out there. Like, it was a hard fight. Relax. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, man. Like, when you hear people, oh, he's inactive and blah blah blah, and I think, fucking, it's funny for you to say that. You haven't fought Romero once. Yeah. Fight him twice and talk about being fucking active, man.
Fight him for 50 minutes.
And also fight him at the time, like now, like, you don't know, how Romero's, because people talk about how Rob's going to come back from those wars, and you want to hope that it's okay for Rob. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem for us that it's taken its toll on him, but he, you know, it obviously wasn't easy. I don't know how Romero's coming back from that war, because Romero hasn't fought and he had surgery for a broken face. You know, so I don't know how he's going to come back from that. I don't wish anything bad on anyone on their career, so I hope he comes back fine. Because it's not a fucking joke. People are humans. And here's the thing about the fighters, man, because you copped a lot of shit when you're talking about fighter pay, and it's been like all over you mentioned something, it didn't even go on a thing. But one of the things that I do see with the fighters is like, and it's not whether the UFC should have to pay them more or not or whatever, but one of the things that I do see is like the fighters dehumanize themselves and each other, so the fans and the crowd and that don't even sometimes see them as people, and they don't try and work together to understand what they should be getting, what percentage of revenue they should be getting. I'm not saying the UFC should pay them more or not. And in fairness, I'll tell you this, Rob mentioned something about fighter pay and people were flaming him. Rob,
were they?
They were flaming you, yeah. And I'll tell you something else. This is what's fucking retarded. He's one of the highest paid fighters. You know what I mean? Yep. And you'd think that people would be like, one of the highest paid fighters is talking about it. Rob is fine financially. Of course, any fuckwit that posts that they shouldn't get paid more, if I came up to you and said, hey man, well done, you're serving Wendy's ice cream, you're doing a fucking great job, I'm going to double your pay to $3 an hour, then that person will fucking take it, true or not?
100%.
As if they wouldn't, as if I said to you, would you fight Romero for X amount of money or X times 2? And you go, nah, I'm good with X. Of course you're going to want more money. You're a fucking idiot. But the biggest thing is like, this is one of the highest paid fighters talking about not just himself, but talking about other fighters. And but I look at it as a sense of like, there's a total, like people don't even look at him as people.
You've said this before. They look at us like pit bulls.
Yeah, or poodles or whatever.
Poodles.
But they do. It's like a fucking. It's like they think, oh, they fought, go fight again.
Yeah, put him back in there. I want to see another one.
I want to see Romero fight again.
Yeah,
and dude's got
monkey.
a broken face. He's got a broken hand.
Dance monkey.
Yeah, if you see these guys fight, if you watch, like I was watching it live, the shots they're taking and that, like, yeah, I don't think they get paid enough. But I don't even know that there's a sum of money that you could pay them, to be honest.
So, yeah.
I just think people... my biggest thing surrounding all of that is, like, the fighters don't do themselves justice. That's like the biggest one I see.
Yeah, they shoot each other in the foot.
They shoot each other in the foot, and then they're like, please, watch me, please. Yep. Look, I'm going to do a fucking cartwheel, and, please be nice to me. Look what I'm going to do now. Oh, please, And I honestly, I look at them and I think, like, you guys don't even understand, like, what's happening. You're fucking retarded. Like,
and that's kind of how the UFC and a lot of other fighting promotions structure their promotional plans and their managing plans is so that we are all at each other's throats.
Yeah,
like,
so you just...
They have to, because only united we would be strong, but we're not. So, but it is what it is. It's like...
They don't like... I don't think, like... How can I say this? Like... I just don't see that being smart. It's not fucking smart. It's not even like... People don't see them as people. Do you get what I mean? They genuinely don't. They just genuinely don't. They just see, like, let's make Romero and Rob fight again, 3 weeks later, And when I hear people go, well, so-and-so fought, with 6 weeks apart, and I think, well, let him fight Romero. I'll bet you he'll fucking get buried, you know what I mean? No one that's fought Romero has turned around and fought 6 weeks later. No one that fought Rob turned around and fought, 4 weeks later, like that. It, like, not to memory. Rob fought Jacare. Jacare ended up having to get surgery for pec that either he had injured before, injured it in the fight, I don't know. And then Rob had injuries going into the Romero fight, the number one Romero fight. Fought Romero within like 6 to 8 weeks of fighting Jacare. And then people go, oh, he's inactive as a fighter and this and that. And I think, well, probably he'd fight more if he could fight me and you. You know what I mean? If Romero fought me and then fought you, he could fight more.
Every day.
Yeah. The problem is you're putting him against fucking high level guys, man.
Here's a question: What was running through your head when you saw me at midnight vomiting into the bathroom.
I was just watching the vomit come out into the toilet, just watching dollars just go down the drain. Just the dollars. I was like, fuck, my money. I was just looking, because like all my expensive shit that I could buy. I already knew prior to that you weren't going to fight. Like, I knew, because like we would have made the call already. So we were already talking to the doctor. One of the UFC doctors, we were already talking to him, because I knew Rob would have fought. Do you get what I mean? And again, this goes back to the whole thing, was people don't get, like, these people they're people.
Yeah.
You know, they're human beings. And so to make any sort of talk about that is fucking retarded. He would have fought, you know, like if there was a window to fight, he would have fought. But by midnight, I'd already been talking to the doctor, and I'd already said to him, like, to one of the doctors, like, that, no, unless you do something miraculous, like, you know, like touch him on the forehead and, you know, he levitates, or you fucking turn water into wine, it's not going to happen. Like, it's not going to happen. And then we spoke about it, myself, the management, a few of because all the coaches were there by this stage. This you got to understand as well, Rob. Like, if all your coaches are there, your management and the UFC doctors are there midnight night of the fight, your chances, and your wife is there, your dad, the chances of you fighting by that stage are fucking minimal. So what was going through my head at that time was like, there has to be something wrong.
You know, that's funny you say that, though, because the story you were telling me at the time was, nah, Rob, just go to sleep. Wake up, we'll be good.
No, because
just go to sleep.
Yeah, no.
Wake up, and we'll be good.
But it would have done nothing for me to go, oh my God, I don't know. You could be fucking dying. You could die. Oh fucking hell. My God, I don't know. You know, start fucking putting your watch on. I'll put his watch on my wrist. But we were saying that, but you were in bed, but we were talking to the doctors.
Yeah.
You know, so we were saying to him, no, it's all good. It's da-da-da. Yeah. And everything, and there we'll see, and you'll probably fight. But by that stage, you weren't going to fight.
And it started at like 4 p.m. Like, I was still in the middle of my rehydrating. And
sorry, people, I yelled into the microphone.
I was still in the middle of my rehydrating and refueling phase, and then I stopped, couldn't eat, couldn't drink anymore. Like, couldn't. And then Fab just came in and like, just sleep if you can, just sleep it off. And then it was just downhill from there. I got bad. It's like, it's funny because after a weigh-in, you usually see the fighter go up, get better, fill out, more energy, feel good. I was just going downhill. Yeah. But, everyone was great. My coaching, special mentions to like my coaching staff, like Alex, Fab, Justin Lang, Justin Fitzgerald, the doctors that came, my manager Titus, my dad, like Sophia, everyone that came there and was hanging around, like, and looking after me. They put in hours. Like, they were with me from like early morning to finish cutting the weight till early morning when I was going in for surgery. Like, they hung around the whole time, and I couldn't have got through it as positive as I did without them. You know, so shout out to you guys. And you know, it is what it is. Like, shout out to the nurses as well. The nurses and the paramedics, they're great. Yeah. Like, I think they're super undervalued and underpaid.
There we go again, Rob, talking about
being
underpaid.
We're gonna bring up wages again. I think the nurses of the world should be paid a hell of a lot more, and the paramedics. And
I would agree. Yeah.
Because they put up with some crazy shit, and they are genuinely looking after me and with a smile on their face.
You know what? One of the comments was on Sherdog when you spoke about the fighter pay.
What?
It said, well, Rob, why didn't you go and be a doctor or an engineer or play in the NFL? And I say to you, why don't you tell the nurses why they didn't play in the NFL?
Yeah, I should.
Why are they so fucking stupid?
So simple.
Oh, bloody hell. But they were great. They were great. Like, they were great. And just all I got to say, they're absolutely great.
What about the messages of support from fans? You would have received bucket loads, eh?
Yeah, it was great to see. You know, I got overwhelming support from everyone messaging me and sending messages through my wife and through my team. Yeah. Just concern, love, just get better, heal. And then, you know, I received a lot of messages of like, man, you're so lucky you caught onto it, because honestly, about 10 different people messaged me saying that they had a friend, relative that passed away due to a burst bowel, twisted bowel. And it was a shock to see how serious it was.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm very blessed that we caught onto it when we did, and that we were able to you know, I'm able to heal. I'm able to continue my career, continue living, being a dad, a husband, and just, you know, stay kicking.
What did you think of the fights, Fab? Did you get to sit down?
Which
and watch
one?
Them? The whole card that Rob was.
We actually watched in the hospital together.
Oh, he would have been sitting there.
I half remember it.
Yeah.
Half remember it.
I look. Which fight in particular are we going to talk? Shout out to Jimmy Crute. I was so impressed with Jimmy Crute.
Yeah.
That was interesting. That walk. What do you think of that walk off KO? Like he hit the dude.
Yeah, and then he walked off, and then the referee said continue.
Yeah.
I didn't think he should have walked off.
No.
Quick. No.
But he did drop him hard.
Yeah, he did drop him hard. But
Did you see it?
Yeah, I
My favorite walk off KO, if anyone hasn't seen it, is Husama Palhares versus Dan Miller. Has anyone seen that?
Is that when he gets out of the cage?
Yeah, he hits him, jumps on the cage, and the fight's not over. That's the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Who else did that? But they got completely out of the cage, and were like jumping up and down with their family.
Anderson, when he hit Bisping with the flying knee at the end of the round.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he jumped out of the
back.
cage. No, he jumped out and was in the crowd, and then
But that one I thought that was a stoppage.
But it was right on the bell.
and they said, no, you've got to get back in there. And he had to climb back over the cage.
That would have been anticlimactic.
It's so awkward.
I thought Jimmy Crute was a real standout for me. Like,
So Jimmy Crute is undefeated. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
2-0. Like in the UFC, that
In the
is.
UFC, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he's got a lot. He's got a lot of potential to cause a lot of headaches and heartbreaks for those guys up there. Shout out to Jimmy just for being a good bloke, and his coaching staff. You know, you guys are really cool. Always really respectful, good people. Good people.
Speaking about, like, say for example, let's say the Adesanya and Silva fight. I thought, to me personally, just as a fight fan, I thought it was an entertaining fight. I thought that was two guys that had similar styles, and it was a fun fight to watch.
Yeah.
I don't think that it had the implications surrounding it. Like if you were to just watch that fight just to watch it, okay, this is the fight, Adesanya and Anderson, and it had no implications, you'd go, that was an interesting fight, you know. But if you're saying to me, this guy here is the best ever, he's 43 or 44 years old, you know, he hasn't really, I don't think he's actually won an official fight since 2012. This guy is
2012.
something like that too. Like he's had these fights overturned when he tested positive. And I could have the things wrong, but I know he beat Brunson.
Yeah.
He had like one win, I think, or something like that. I could be wrong, but it's something like that. It's not the greatest thing. And this guy here is on a 5-0 run or a 6-0 run. Plus, you know, he's 16-0 overall in MMA, and he's had like 100 kickboxing fights or something like that. In that scenario there, and maybe it's because honestly I expected Adesanya to run through him.
Yeah.
Maybe I thought too much there. I don't know. I've always liked watching Adesanya fight. I knew about Adesanya way before. So I've always liked watching him fight. I've always watched Anderson fight, but I thought Adesanya, and we here when we did the podcast, and Rob called it as well. Like we both thought that Adesanya would be too much for Anderson. So I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Do you think he maybe gave him a little bit too much respect?
No, I don't think so. I don't necessarily think he gave him too much respect. I think Anderson has a way of being able to control the tempo of a fight, and he can slow a fight down, and he can fight not to lose, and he can lose a fight and still control it. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think it'd be very hard for someone to just go in there and like just damage him, just hurt him. He's just very, very knowledgeable and good in the fight. And I think he can control the fight and the tempo, the pace, the distance, all of that, even when he's about to lose, even when losing. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that Adesanya isn't as good as he thinks he is. I think he's very good, very, very good. And I have a lot of respect for his skill set, 100%. He's a dangerous guy. But I don't think the pedestal that he's on is as high as everyone else thinks it is, as he thinks it is. I think his fight with Anderson Silva was the first time his stand-up capabilities got put to the test with someone with similar stand-up capabilities.
I have a question though, but what about what about he's had fights against very, very good kickboxers in the past, and he's more than held his own against extremely good kickboxers. So his stand-up was obviously tested. What do you think about that?
My thoughts are that we're not kickboxing. The difference of striking in the octagon opposed to in the ring is night and day, especially in an MMA sense versus kickboxing sense. Comparing the two isn't applicable. Yes, he can take a lot of the skill sets over, and they're very transferable, but it's not the same. It's not the same. I think we spoke about this other days, where being a very high technical, having a very high technical skills in stand-up, like technical striking, isn't the same as being a very dangerous striker. Because if you were to look at Romero, for instance, he is not technically great at stand-up. He's not known for his technical grace with his stand-up. Most of his wins have been knockouts.
Does he hit hard, Rob?
He hits very freaking hard, you know. And the thing is, like,
who hit hard at Wonder Boy or Romero?
Oh well, Wonder Boy dropped me too. But Romero for sure.
Yeah, and it wouldn't even be close, if
it's
they
not close.
Yeah.
With Wonder Boy, I think the cut got like the water. I was getting dropped a lot in welterweight though. That's a different story. I was getting dropped a lot in welterweight though.
But Wonder Boy, I think the point you're making is Wonder Boy would be technically far superior to
way
Romero.
technical, and his timing and precision is much better. But Romero hits like a truck. And Romero is just dangerous striker. He would have to be one of the most dangerous strikers in the world. He's most of his wins have come from knockouts, standing up, like punches, flying knees. You know, like he's a very, very dangerous striker, and you can't say he's super technical because he's not. Whereas I think Adesanya is very dangerous and technical, but he doesn't. It's not the same as Romero. He's not super dangerous. Like Hendricks when he was making his run to the title. You know, Hendricks' striking is not great. I don't think it was great. I was never on the hype train of, Hendricks is a technical.
Yeah.
You know, God, no, he just landed that left hand and put people out. You know, So yeah, I think I don't think that Adesanya's striking is as good as he believes it. It's very good. Now, I'm not saying his striking's bad. It's very, very, very good, very dangerous. I just don't think it's as good as he believes it is. And I think that fight with Anderson Silva was the first time you had two people in the same octagon with similar skill set capabilities. And Anderson Silva's striking is the top of his game, it's not at the top of his game, but is very, very high. And that made it like the times Adesanya's looked very, very good were against people that don't have the greatest striking. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
Argue with me. Say I'm wrong.
No, I think that the guys that he has fought, other than Anderson, weren't guys that had striking pedigrees. Not to say that they were bad strikers, but they might do well against other guys that might do well, but when you match them up against Adesanya,
with a dude that's very high level striking, it's not going to be the same. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that fight. I thought hats off to Anderson Silva. He did remarkable. I think it was that fight was more of a highlight for Anderson than it was for Adesanya. I think that that fight was for Anderson to be fighting at 44 like that, not getting finished by a young dude that's undefeated with high level striking on a tear. I thought, hats off to you, my man.
Well, yeah, I thought that about Anderson myself in that fight. What do you think about Anderson's fight with Cannonier coming up?
Please stop fighting Anderson. Like, not because
he is a gorilla.
Yeah, not because I don't think Anderson could do something, could win, because he could. I'll never give Anderson 100% loss, in my opinion, because Anderson's too dangerous. Like he hit Adesanya very, very clean a bunch of times, but man, it's every dog has his day. You know what I mean?
What's the money fight for him? But what would be the money fight for Anderson at this stage?
I don't think he's doing it for money. He's not doing it for money. I honestly don't think he's doing it for money. And I know a lot of those older dudes fighting in their late 40s do it for money because they have contracts that came from Pride, which are significantly higher than those on the UFC. But I don't think he's doing it for money because he would have money. He would have money at this point in his life, and everything that he's done, he'd have money. Yeah, plus, he in South America, he could. He's a superstar. Like he can get money. It's I think he just this is all he knows. This is all he is, and this is all he can do. Like it's all he wants to do.
What do you think, Eli, of the fight between Gastelum and Adesanya?
I think it'll be a test. It'll definitely be a test. I think Gastelum, again, is probably, like Rob said, the gatekeeper there. I think if he can pass Gastelum, then he deserves a shot at maybe the top guys. But
which belt are they fighting for? They're fighting for Gastelum's belt or for the interim belt?
Cejudo's belt.
An interim.
That'd be shit for Adesanya. If Adesanya beats Gastelum, and then he just gets Cejudo's belt.
Yeah.
He's the flyweight champion.
I got a thing though with that fight. If Adesanya does beat Gastelum, that'll for me that'll be okay. His stand-up's pretty good because Gastelum, I think, is very, very well rounded, and he's very, very tough. I think across the board he's probably better. Not across the board. I mean, in terms of holistic skill sets, I think Gastelum probably has a better skill set. But if Adesanya can keep his distance and keep him on the end of his strikes for the whole 5 rounds, then I'll be like, wow, hats off to you, because that's hard for anyone to do, especially against someone like Gastelum, because Gastelum's been in those fights before and knows how to get inside.
I think my prediction on this fight is it won't be close. I don't think it'll be a close fight. I think it'll be a whitewash, but either way. Why I say that is like their styles and even the physiques are so contrasting in that, and they both know it, they're both smart, they both have a lot of fight experience. So I see Gastelum knows he has to get inside, he has to cut that distance, he has to be wary of those kicks, has to land the shot on that, has to land that left hand, possibly go for a takedown. And Adesanya knows that, and Adesanya is very good at controlling the range, controlling the tempo of the fight. So if Adesanya can get that rhythm going and put Gastelum in that mid-range, and Gastelum can't close that distance, he's going to smash him. He's going to annihilate him. But I think Gastelum has had a lot of experience, trains with Uriah Hall all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Lives with Uriah Hall.
Yeah.
So that ability to cut that distance and get in tight. What's that?
Has
beaten Uriah Hall. Yep. So being able to get into that distance and being able to get in, he's good at that, doing that as well.
Make the fight dirty.
Yeah, but if he can do that, I also think he'll put on Adesanya as well.
Yep.
But it's just, I don't think it'll be a question of like, because say for example, if Gastelum spends, it's a 5-round fight. If he spends 10 minutes on the perimeter getting the shit kicked out of him, he's not going to, I don't know, he could fluke it and hit him and knock him out, maybe. But what I'm saying is that he'll be damaged, badly. But I also see it on the flip side is if Adesanya can't keep him off him for 5 rounds, that's going to just get worse for him. Yeah. I don't see it being a close fight either way. I see, and they could fight 10 times and be different results. I just see whoever can go out there and impose their game, he's going to win. And clearly, it'll make it look like it was a mismatch regardless. And I don't think it's that much of a mismatch, to be honest. I think it's a good fight.
Excited to watch it.
Yeah, me too.
I got a question. What do you think about the Velasquez and Ngannou fight?
The 26 Seconds of Fury.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Cain Velasquez fan, actually, I have to say. Massive fan of his. And sometimes I think with, like, because his knee collapsed,
Yeah.
you know. And I think that's one of the things with Cain is, like, I don't know, you know, you look at guys and he might not have had that many MMA fights, but he's probably had, I don't know, 1,000 wrestling matches in his life. I don't know, just guessing. But the mileage on that body would be incredible, you know what I mean? Like,
He finds it super hard to get into fights because the camps take it, like, destroy his body. He keeps getting injured. And to the point now where he got injured in a fight.
then I don't know. It makes me sad to see that. And again, this goes back to that thing with people don't understand, like, they're people. Like,
Did his knee collapse on the way into the shot? Because, like, I think regardless of Cain's knee, I think Ngannou still got that touched him.
yeah, I don't.
And Ngannou has some serious bad man power.
No. Of course, dude. But when you watch, and it's hard to say, man, but when you watch in the slow motion, what I saw, he was still, he wasn't, when his knee collapsed, he was down on the ground. I'm not saying, I'm sure if Ngannou grazed your chin, it'd fucking put you in orbit. But when you watch in the replay, he hit the ground and he was not even cognizant of Ngannou being here.
There was a sign of pain on his face.
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
It? Like
He was on concentrating on his knee, like he was like and Francis was here like like that.
As he should.
Yeah,
No, I'm a fan of Cain too. I'm a fan of Ngannou, but I like him. I like him a lot. He's a scary man.
He is very, very scary.
He's a scary man.
On other fights that are coming up, then UFC 235, which I'm looking forward to. What do you think of? Let's start with Lawler versus Askren. I'm pumped to see this fight. That's probably, honestly, the fight I'm most pumped to see is Lawler versus Askren out of them.
I just like any Lawler fight. He can fight anyone and I enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? I like him as a person, a fighter. I think he's respectful and that. I just like any fight he's in, I enjoy it.
Yeah, I get good vibes from him. Evil vibes, but good vibes. Like, I think he's good people, but I think he's evil as well.
It's strange because you watch the pre-shows and he's always like chilled out, fishing and stuff like that. But he's one of the most vicious guys.
He's always like, I want to eat your soul, sort of vibe.
Who you got?
My biggest thing is I don't know which Lawler's going to show up. That's what I'm super curious about, because I think Lawler's a hard fight for anyone when he comes to fight, anyone. But then sometimes he doesn't come to fight.
Yeah, I don't think he always comes to fight. Just sometimes he doesn't get off the same way.
Does he? I don't know. I don't know if he does, because when he fought RDA, RDA. When he fought 80, yeah. I always get this mixed up. When he fought RDA, he didn't want to fight, and even
but his knee got blown out in that fight.
Yeah, he still stood there.
And he stood there and took his beating.
Yeah, he did, but I don't know. I think Askren's gonna wrestle fuck him a bit.
What do you think?
I think the same. I think he definitely knows what he needs to do. And,
Askren does one thing.
Yeah,
You've got to give credit to Askren with that. He doesn't even fuck around. He's just
like, he doesn't even pretend to strike.
No, I think that might be the case. I don't know if Lawler, do you know what I mean? I don't know how active he is in his training, wrestling and that, but he come from a wrestling background?
He wrestled like in high school and that.
Okay, but not, okay.
The people don't understand, like Askren's grappling is like up there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's high level guy. I don't know. But Robbie Lawler's had a lot of experience. He's fought a lot of good guys. He's fought he's fought Jacare 185, you know what I mean? He's fought
that's another thing. Like, might be too much.
Yeah, is he at the end of his line?
Yeah, he's Lawler.
Oh yeah,
It might
yeah,
be too much. I
100%.
think, like you said, the mileage. I think he's a dude that has mileage. He's been in wars, like absolute bloody wars, since day dot.
Yeah.
Like since his debut in the scene, he's had a war with every single one. Like those
Condit fights, Rory fight.
yeah, the Rory fights I think were just too much. Like, that's crazy.
How much does a fight like that take it out of you, Rob? Like like the fights you had with Romero, particularly the second one.
It depends. It's like with Romero, I got hit like I dropped, but and then I was hit off the droppage. But apart from that, it wasn't back and forth too much. Whereas like Lawler and Rory's fight were just back and forth. You hit me, I hit you. You hit me, I hit you, for 5 rounds.
You know, when you have a concussion and that black flash comes up, they would have had 50 each in that fight.
Fucking easy.
So it would have been better if one of them got knocked out.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? They would probably have a more extensive life than the amount of concussions they had, like Robbie Lawler, just standing there and taking them. Sometimes they're too tough for their own good.
I can't even say I like both of them. I'm a fan of Askren as well. It's one of those things where I want to see Askren do his thing because I just like watching him do it. But I've always been a Robbie Lawler fan, so I wish it was somebody else, so that I could see Askren do it. Because like from a technical perspective, watching Askren do what he does is, to me, it's phenomenal. Like it's the same as Khabib, but you know, maybe better.
It's funny when I seen that fight come up, I went, no, I don't want to see that fight, not that. Do you know what I mean? Mixed him with someone else, not that fight. So,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like I want to see Askren do his thing, but I don't want to see him do it against Lawler.
Yeah.
You know. What about Woodley and Usman? Who you got?
I'm gonna go Woodley on that one. Woodley really impressed me in his last fight. Really impressed me. Plus, I think he's good people. But so is Usman. I've met him too. He's a good guy. Yeah. But I think Woodley impressed me in that last fight. I think he's very dangerous. Usman's dangerous too. But I think Woodley is much more well-rounded than people think. On top of the fact that if he touches you with that hand, you're done.
What do you think?
I know Usman's always surprised me. I've never really been on the bandwagon, I guess, but every fight he goes in, he gets it done. It's going to be a good fight, but yeah, Woodley's got some clubs, so he could put him away at any stage.
One thing that I'll give Woodley is this: I think he's very good at being a champion. Like he understands the game, the fight. He really, really gets it. He really gets the things that are needed to be done to be a champion. Like he understands you got to dot your I's and cross your T's and leave no stone unturned. And because I follow him and I watch his preparations and all of that, and you know, I watch how he fights, and you know, sometimes he fights really cautious, sometimes he doesn't, but he gets what he has to do to be champion.
Yeah.
You know, and he doesn't spend a lot of time on anything that's not going to get him the win. You know, so I would have to go with him just because of the fact that I think he's just too good at being a champion. Yeah. And Jones versus Smith.
I think that'll be a more interesting fight than a lot of people give credit for.
Can I say something? Anthony Smith is fucking huge. He's
Big
big.
guy.
Remember when he was at middleweight?
Huge guy.
He's been on like same card as Rob a couple of times.
Yeah, huge guy.
Fucking massive. I remember when I saw him when he was cutting to middleweight, I thought, fuck, good luck with that, mate. Like that's awful.
He's a big guy. I think it'll be a much closer fight than people think it will be.
I remember when
Smith will surprise a lot of people.
I think it was Kansas. I want to say Kansas. I'm not sure, but it was some card, and we were just then. I was talking to, I think it might have been Alex, one of Rob's coaches, and we saw Anthony Smith, and we were just talking, and we go, "Oh, you know, that's that dude." Da 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 da. You know, how do you think Rob will match up with him? And I just remember looking at him, and I said to him, "Man, this dude's not. Don't even think about this dude. This dude's not going to be a middleweight. This guy's kind of super heavy. Like he's huge, man. He's like a huge dude.
He's a big guy, big cat.
Yeah, and then the last time I saw him, it was, I think,
Chicago.
Was that? Yeah, he was at Chicago. And who did he fight on that card? Do you remember?
Maybe Rashad.
Yeah, look.
Was it Rashad?
Might have been.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it was. 100% it was.
Yeah. It
We
was.
saw Rashad in the
Yeah.
foyer.
We were, and I remember he was right next to us, and I remember looking at him, and he's a big guy, man. He's a really, really big guy.
Massive.
Yeah. So that to me is a thing, but obviously Jones is the favourite.
Yeah, with good reason.
Right,
He's a
rightly
freak.
so.
Yeah, I think it would be not impossible, but I think it'll be a big ask for Smith to take it from him. What do you think?
I think the same. I think Jones is just. I don't know. I didn't think it was a match to be made there. I don't know if they. I don't know why they went down that path. They obviously have their reasons. Do you think Anthony Smith deserved that title fight on the people he's beat?
Well, what I have to give him is that he did beat Ozdemir,
Yep.
who had just come off a title shot with Cormier.
Yeah.
So I have to give him that. You know what I mean? And I like Anthony Smith.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I like
He's
him.
a good guy. He's
Yeah.
a very, very good guy.
So, yeah, but he did beat Volkan Ozdemir.
Yeah, it was 1 or 2. So,
Yeah, so he'd have to be up there, right up there.
well, that's how the rankings are supposed to work. It's like,
How's Rob's rankings work with that one?
let's not get into that. That's a big. That's a whole podcast on itself. The middleweight rankings have been screwed since like 10 years ago. Like since Anderson got beaten, then the rankings
It's
just went
just been a mess since.
out the out of the. Yeah, it's just been a mess.
Okay.
Well, what else have we got? What else have you got coming up, Rob? You got anything coming up?
So I guess for me initially, my first thing is just to heal and get better. We got the next batch of the Gracie programs coming through, which will be great.
When will that be starting, Eli?
We're hoping April, May.
How many students are we looking to have?
We'd like to fill 2 classes. So, do you know what I mean? 2 classes of anywhere from 20 to 25.
Okay, how many students have we got now on that? About 40?
Yeah, we've got around 40 and a few others that we need to chase.
So we
up.
still got a few spots available.
Yeah, we still have spots available.
Who can they contact, Eli?
Probably the best bet is if they jumped on Facebook and TAFE New South Wales Aboriginal programs.
So TAFE New South Wales Aboriginal programs?
Yeah, if they jumped on there, then we have a link where they can fill out expression of interest, and then we'll get in contact with them. Yeah.
Okay, so you got that. What else?
That's a great way to learn. Absolutely great way to learn. And then I guess I think we're going to try and tee up and head up north to Queensland.
Yeah.
Maybe run some work with the Broncos there. So yeah, that should be good.
So at the moment, our business partner, Alex Prades, he has a contract with Brisbane Broncos to do the grappling and defensive stuff with them. Alex is probably one of the best guys that I can think of. I can't really think of anyone that I've come across anyways, making his way around the NRL doing that kind of work. Like, and he's very, at the moment, he's got a lot of fight experience, a lot of combat experience. Obviously, he's a third dan black belt in jiu-jitsu, so he's been doing jiu-jitsu forever. But more importantly, he's also been in that rugby league world, working in that rugby league world for a long time.
For the longest time. Like
Yeah.
Way back, when?
Oh, ages.
He was working with the Sharks, like at the beginning.
Yeah, and there were...
Before I met him.
Yeah, way before that. You know, he'd already been working with the Sharks. He won a premiership with Souths.
Yeah.
So he was at Souths for years. Now he's at Broncos. He and Anthony Seibold went over to Broncos. So we're lucky enough to be able to get to do some work with the Broncos as well this year. And so we'll probably head up there for about a week or so at some point in March.
Also, shout out to the boys at the Broncos for the get well message. You know, that was well received. Like, yeah, that was unbelievable. Thank you, boys. Hope you guys see this. Like, thanks for the love. You know, I'll be seeing you shortly.
Anything else coming up?
You know, we got a lot of guys at the gym who are going to be fighting soon. What card are the boys going to be on?
They're trying to put together a couple of cards. We don't know yet what's happening. They're still fighting in the local scene. But you've got David Francis fighting on Super Fight, actually. That'll be on March 1st. And
I think we're still trying to match make Jacob.
well, Jacob's going to have a pro boxing fight, and he's undefeated as a pro boxer, and he's also going to have an MMA fight around the same time yet. But again, we haven't been able to lock down times. And he's fighting soon as well.
Yeah, double champ.
Yeah, the champ.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, team's doing well, making leaps and bounds. And there's some comps coming up, and just training. You know, after I heal, my stomach heals, and get back into training and prepare to fight either Adesanya or Gastelum. Yeah.
Do you have a preference?
Like you guys know, and I think a lot of my fans know, I've never cared who I fight. Literally, the UFC threw everyone, anyone who had a fight win streak, or was like the next prospect, they threw at me, and yeah. So I've never cared. But if I had to say, I'd probably like to fight Adesanya.
Why is that?
One, he's been asking for it, and two, I like that fight. I like the way he fights. You know, he's a distance fighter. He likes to utilise his striking, which agrees with me. I'm a distance fighter, but I close distance really fast and I hit very hard. And I think I'll surprise him. But, you know, it is what it is. In saying that, fighting Gastelum wouldn't be bad. Put in a lot of work already for that guy. So it would be good to not fight a southpaw for once. Yeah.
And I've noticed that Brown, not so much, but your biggest problem have only ever been white guys. Yeah, so
the white guys are
his only losses are to white guys.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So like we're trying to dodge any white guys, so we're lucky that Rockhold, thank you for moving up.
Cheers, mate.
And Weidman, that's the only one we've got to keep our eye on.
I don't think you can say this.
It's true though, statistically.
Does it come up in the stats?
I still don't think.
Yeah, biggest weakness, white guys.
Okay. Gotta come out of the UFC when I'm walking out. Nah.
You know, that's the thing. So we have to get rid of Weidman from that division. So hopefully he goes up to light heavyweight, and just avoid that.
Yeah.
Could I also give a shout out to the girls you sponsor, the Gracie girls, who are playing in the LS7s?
When is that?
The 1st and 2nd of March. So, obviously the Gracie program sponsors them girls. A lot of them have come through the program and that as well. Unfortunately, this year we'll be missing one of our superstars, Rihanna Byers, who came through the program. Yeah, she's with the Australian Sevens now. So, we're 1st and 2nd, we're playing up there. Hopefully this year we can come away with the win after a few runners-ups the last few years. Yeah, but
awesome.
Shout out and thank you.
Shout out.
No worries. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for watching and listening. See you later.
See you later, guys.